Hi folks, welcome to the 2024 Tour de France podcast update series. Remember last year I did a daily podcast from the Tour de France. I'll not be repeating that this year. That was way too much. This year instead I'm going to do kind of like an emergency explainer situation. So I'll be watching the tour, I'll be watching the coverage, and if something needs to be said, I'm going to pop in for it. Reminder about me, I was a professional for 10 years. I never did the Tour de France, but I know a bunch of these guys. I know how bike racing works, and I never made tens or hundreds of millions of dollars by participating in vast doping conspiracies, lying to the face of the public, carrying my blood bags around, threatening people who wanted to tell the truth or be clean. In fact, I did not dope whatsoever. So that's the perspective that you'll be getting from me and my channel if that's something you're interested in. In this video, we're going to give you a little preview. I'm thinking of folks who maybe haven't followed the season so far super closely. I'm going to tell you what's gone on, who the favorites are, how everyone's form is sort of looking, who teams are sending. We're going to do a little stage preview, and I'll throw out my predictions. This video is sponsored by my coach, FastCat Coaching, and his new training app. If you have goals, if you're racing, if you're training, if you're just looking to improve at something, you'll know that there's a giant difference between just riding hard and having an actual training plan. FastCat has a huge library of training plans. You can sort of pick your goals and lock one in, and you'll learn like, oh, this is what the cycle looks like. This is the build. This is the recovery. You'll learn a lot. You'll improve. That makes a huge difference. Once you've done that, the next step from a training plan is to have a personal coach. Now that can get super expensive, and it's kind of work on your end. You've got to keep in touch like, oh, I got to change this around. I've got to move that. I've got to pick up the kids at school. I've got work things. FastCat's app is a new, innovative, in-between option. Whereas coaching can be like $700, $1,000 a month, their app is $20 a month. It's got all the years of my coach Frank's experience. All that data is fed into his AI to build you a custom training plan and make adjustments and tweaks on the fly, just like your coach would if you send like an emergency text message in the middle of the night, except he won't be mad at you and you won't feel guilty about it. There's a free 30-day trial. Check out the link below. We're going to start this by just blasting through all the major races so far, giving you a quick summary. Okay, first race, Strade Bianche, one-day event, dirt roads, super hard course, Tade by a lot. Second place, our friend Tom Squinch. Next, Paris-Nice. This is a stage race. Matteo Jorgensen emerges as the strongest American rider so far this year on the results page. Definitely no disrespect to Brendan McNulty, who came third overall at that event. And in between was some guy named Remco, who we also shouldn't ignore. Next, we have Tirreno, which was won by Jonas Vingegaard. Second place, Juan Ayuso, teammate of Tade. Third, Jai Hindley. Milan-San Remo, Jasper Philipsen wins. Michael Matthews, close second. Third place, Tade in sprint. Next up, Tour of Catalunya. Tade by a lot. He won 4 stages out of 7. You'll be recognizing a pattern here. One of those patterns, of course, that Tade and Jonas are not competing at all with each other before the Tour de France. They're building suspense. I also think they don't want to sort of play their cards, but it's pretty hard to deny who's showing the better form at this point of the year. Bruges Japan, one-day race, Philipsen wins. E3 Saxo, Mathieu van der Poel. Gerrit Wevelgem, Mads Pedersen for Trek. Tour of Flanders, Paris-Roubaix, both won by Mathieu van der Poel. Nice spring for him. Also a big spring for Matteo Jorgensen, who, after winning Paris-Nice, a hilly stage race, was up there in the one-day classics. Amstel, Tom Pidcock won in dominant fashion. Flesch, Stephen Williams, big win for Israel. Hang on, Liège isn't in my notes. Who won Liège? Tade. It was Tade. All right, next was a race and really an incident that kind of messed up the whole season, upset everybody. Tour of the Basque Country, massive pileup that sent a ton of the race favorites to the hospital, a lot of season-affecting kind of injuries and situations here. This is the thing, I get a lot of kids asking like, how do I go pro? Should I try to be a pro cyclist? And I think about like the best dudes in the world crashing and ending up in the hospital for an extended period of time. That essentially, by the way, like a B race that's used for training. Just a reminder, not that anybody needs that, of how hard and brutal this sport can be. I would say the hardest hit was Jonas Vingegaard, broken ribs, collarbone, pulmonary contusion, pneumothorax. Now, these are all kind of bad sounding things. I've been there, I've had each of these, and when I first heard it, I was like, he's gonna be out for a couple weeks. He has great assistants, great doctors, great medical, whatever, all the resources possible for the Tour de France winner. At the time, I was thinking like, he's still my guy for the Tour de France. And then I remember seeing his Instagram post announcing he was out of the hospital 6 weeks later, and I was like, ooh, maybe not. I think that's going to be kind of a lingering situation. Also affected that crash, Remco broke his collarbone and his shoulder blade. That's a 1-2 combo that I've had before. You see my scar there. Jay Vine fractured vertebrae in that crash. Steph Kras, ribs, lungs, vertebrae. Sean Quinn on EF broke his sternum. I never even heard of that. He had a bad concussion. Awesome comeback, national road race champion. He just kind of went back, did his work, and I believe he'll be solid for the Tour. Primoz Roglic also went down in that pileup. Didn't finish the race, no serious injuries, but overall a lot of heavy hitters laying it down there in a way that really might affect the rest of their year. Next, Tour of Romandy, Carlos Rodriguez, Ineos wins. Leading up to the Giro, which was the Tadej show, as you probably know. Nobody even close. He won 6 stages, the GC by over 10 minutes to Danny Martinez, who is no slouch. Geraint Thomas third at 10 minutes 30 seconds. But really a dominant performance by Tadej, who didn't even look tired. Just every time he attacked, they really just stopped responding at the end because those guys knew they were going to blow up and there's no reason to try to hold the wheel. Just let this Tadej go and we're racing for second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever. It's certainly uncommon for someone to win the Giro and still be a favorite for the Tour. The Giro Tour double is an insanely ambitious goal, but the way we saw Tadej do it, it seemed like he was going into form. He didn't look fatigued at the end. It'd be really hard to watch that and think he's not going to be flying for the Tour a little bit later. Now, for those who aren't dominating Grand Tour in their preparation for another Grand Tour, the Tour de Suisse and the Dauphiné are the typical kind of precursor build-up for the Tour de France. Roglic won the Dauphiné, Matteo Jorgensen second overall, Derek G. Israel third overall, Rodriguez fourth, Remco 7th overall, probably not the performance that he was looking for leading in the Tour, but given what he's coming back from, pretty solid. And it's worth noting that he did smash the individual time trial. Tour de Suisse 1-2 overall for UAE without Tadej. That's Yates and Almeida. Third overall Skelmos for Trek. Fourth Bernal. Awesome to see Egan Bernal up there for Ineos after a terrible crash he went through years ago that arguably I think now he's finally come back from. Okay, now we're on to predictions. There's going to be a lot of buzz about Cavendish. He's coming back, of course, to try to take the Eddie Merckx stage wins record. I don't think he's going to pull it off. I think he's the best sprinter in the world. He knows positioning. He's savvy. If he gets one, it's because his timing is incredible. I just don't think he has the watts on Jasper when it comes down to it. Jasper has a lead out in Matthew van der Poel. That's hard to beat. Look for Cavendish to find a tricky finish where his insane amount of experience and stage wins will help him. All he needs is one little mistake, one little moment, and one very big stage win to achieve his big goals. Of course, they'll both have to deal with Wout van Aert. Really, there is no stage that he's not a threat to win, from the sprints to the time trials to climbing stages out of a breakaway. My main prediction, I think it's going to be Tadej overall by a lot. I just don't see Jonas being back to top form. I see Jonas getting better as the Tour progresses, but I just think it's going to be too little too late. It's a lot he's had to go up against this year. Honestly, I think it's impressive for him to line up at the Tour after what he's been through. But if you look at his arc this season versus Tadej's, it's just hard to think that he can be even close. Honestly, I predict Jonas to have a couple tough days, which will lead to people love finding drama in the who's leading the team kind of situation, showing Matteo Jorgensen, the form he's been on. Sepp Kuss will be in the race. He's going to be good. There's going to be some times on TV where those guys are waiting for each other and not sure what to do, and we're watching the race go away up the road. I predict UAE being greedy. Aside from Tadej isn't going to give any stage wins away, I could see Yates coming second overall. I think the race for third might be really interesting. Ineos has Bernal and Rodriguez. I think it'd be a nice story for Jonas to even land on the podium. And he'll have tough competition with that between Ineos, Rodriguez and Bernal, Remco, and of course, Roglic. I could see O'Connor up there, and I can't believe I'm saying this, I could see Matteo Jorgensen in the mix. Okay, other low-hanging fruit predictions. Patrick Lefevre is going to make an ass of himself in the media. There's going to be some kind of stage shut down by climate protests or war protests. There's going to be some sprint crashes and some finger pointing. I am predicting this to be a good year to watch for American fans. We've got a few folks who've been showing great form lately. All right, now we're going to go through a quick stage by stage. You can pencil in which ones you want to watch, which ones you might want to be on the bike yourself for. Stage 1 starts off with a bang, 3,800 meters of climbing. Honestly, I don't think you want to miss this. Stage 2, also a tough one, hilly circuit at the finish. I could see like a Van der Poel or honestly a Tadej. With flat stages, it's hard to say, oh, you should watch this one, you shouldn't watch that one, because there could be a breakaway. Of course, breakaways are fun to watch too, but if you're looking for the Cavendish, Philipsen drama, hard to say if that's going to happen there. But stage 3 is one of those. Stage 4, Galibier. You might have heard of it. I'd watch that. Stage 5 and 6, bunch sprint. Stage 7, a mostly flat time trial. Stage 8, 2,400 meters of climbing. Hilly by any standard except maybe the Tour de France. This seems like maybe a breakaway day. Stage 9, gravel. Watching that one. Stage 10, flat. Finishes in the town where Julian Alaphilippe was born. He's probably going to try and win that. Stage 11, hilly finale. Look for Van der Poel and Tadej. Stage 12, a couple of hills, but nothing all the sprinters can't get over. 13, hills towards the end, but kind of same. Stage 14, Tourmalet. That one's going to matter. Stage 15 will be on Bastille Day. Expect the fireworks. tons of big climbs. Stage 16 is a sprint day. Stage 17 is a ton of climbing. I don't know why, I can see that being a day for a long breakaway. The GC will be mostly settled. All those guys are gonna be kind of tired by then. Stage 18, super hilly, also kind of feels breakaway-y to me, which again, there's no way to know how that stuff plays out, but if I was a guy looking to win a stage out of a breakaway, I'd be kind of circling those. Stage 19, 4,400 meters of climbing. That's going to be a GC day no matter how you slice it. Stage 20 finishes in Nice. It features the Col de Turini. That's one of the ones a lot of the World Tour guys live in Nice and Monaco, depending on their tax brackets, but expect to see some very upset Strava times at the end of that stage from the locals. And you might remember that the Tour de France does not finish in Paris this year. There's some other thing going on called the Olympics there, so they had to finish in Nice. Gotta be rough for the Tour de France to get bumped. But the last day is a time trial. I'm predicting one of those where like Filippo Ganna or TT Specialist hangs on the whole race thinking that's my stage, and then Tady's gonna win. All right, thanks for watching this one during the tour. I'll see you when I see you. Believe me, when I post something, that means it's important because I won't be here every day. Link below for Fast Cat Coaching free trial, $20 a month. Thanks for watching.